Good morning. This is 1 in 36, a presentation from Anderson Center for Autism, celebrating their centennial in 2024. 1 in 36 is a weekly show devoted to autism spectrum disorder.
Good morning and welcome to 1 in 36, the weekly talk show on topics related to autism spectrum disorder. I'm your host, Eliza Bozensky, Chief Development Officer at Anderson Center for Autism, and today I'm talking with Abby Edwards, the founder, creator, and genius sister behind Anderson's Pajama Day. Abby, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be back.
Well, I'm thrilled to have you. I remember, I think I really encouraged you to come on the first time, and it was nerve-wracking. You were young, first of all, younger. You're still young, but and at that time, you came into the studio, and you got to sit there, and we still have a picture somewhere, I think, on our website of you and me talking that day. But Abby, I mean, it's just been so great getting to know you over the years and your whole family. And I know that you started this when you were in 7th grade, and now you are at Marist College. And why don't you tell us the story behind Pajama Day, anywhere you'd like to begin?
Yes. So basically, now I'm a sophomore in college. I was listening actually like a few days ago to the podcast from when I was last on.
Yeah.
And it was almost like surprising to see how much has changed like from that time. I was a freshman in high school at that time, so like it's so different. Now I'm a sophomore at Marist. I'm studying education. So I'm studying elementary and special ed. So basically Pajama Day started back when I was in 7th grade. And the first year began with just about one school, and we raised about 2,000. I have the number here, 2,396. Mm-hmm. And now after 7 years, we're up to almost 59,000.
Yeah.
It's been really good. It started with the one school, and really my reason for starting was because of Riley. I realized from a young age that I wanted to create kind of like an accepting atmosphere for him and like an autism awareness kind of atmosphere. So that was kind of my main goal. And this like has kind of been my way of doing that.
Yeah. And let's talk about Riley a little bit. Riley is your brother, and he's been here at Anderson for several years, obviously since before you were in way back in middle school. And I remember talking to you again when you were younger, even before maybe that first podcast. You and Riley have always been close. So tell us a little bit about, even just at home, like what's your relationship like with Riley? What are the things that you guys like to do together?
Yeah. So basically ever since like I was really young, me and Riley have always been really close. I've always kind of known I wanted to be a teacher, so I was always like following him around. We would have like, back when he was living at home, we would have teachers come into the house, and I was actually like, I was always hanging out with them. I was hanging out with Riley. I was like, oh, I want to play with you guys. And it was to the point where my parents were like, you have to let them do their thing. But me and Riley were always really close. We, even now that he's at school, it's been really nice that I'm up here at Marist, because like on the weekend I'll go see him. I'll take him to McDonald's. We'll go for a walk. We'll go shopping. He's kind of like my sidekick. He goes everywhere with me. It's like he'll do it. So it's really nice. And then when we're home, kind of do the same thing. So we're really close overall.
That's really, really cool. And if you go, if anybody listening goes and scrolls through, some of our social media or some of our website pictures, we have some great ones of the two of you together, sometimes wearing some pajamas, sometimes wearing some Anderson swag. But I know that your relationship has grown and developed as you've both gotten older. But I can easily imagine those times running around in the house, trying to sort of play teacher or be part of that whole scene. And it's so gratifying and just thrilling to hear that you're studying elementary education and special education at Marist. They have a great program, and it seems like you sort of, you're a goal-oriented person, Abby. That's what I've learned about you. So you decided a long time ago that was what you wanted to do, and now you're doing it. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was like I didn't really realize it like right away, because I was kind of back and forth. I was like, oh, do I want to be a teacher? Do I not? But ultimately, it's like what I want to do. That's
great. Yeah. And I assume some of that inspiration must come from knowing Riley and seeing, I know one of the things that you talk about a lot is seeing him reach his goals, when he was at home and is at home, but also when he's here at Anderson. And you've also talked, I remember years back you would talk a lot about Special Olympics and his participation and ability to participate as a Blue Knight at Anderson and sporting events and recreational opportunities. Are you an athlete too? Do you enjoy sports?
I'm not actually, which is funny that like I love it so much, but I'm not an athlete. When I was younger, I did like a lot of sports. I was in like soccer, lacrosse. I tried basically everything and kind of gave up on it. It's not really my thing, but it's nice. Like I really just enjoyed seeing Riley like go to that, and it was like such a special day, just like seeing him compete and like winning an award. It was just like so fun for him. So I was so happy for him. And it's just like overall, it's just nice to see him like reaching his goals and like he's made so much growth over the time he's been at Anderson. So it's like really good for me to see. Even like last year at the graduation, like he graduated last year. I remember like just watching him like walk down the thing with the music and wearing the cap and gown. I was like so happy for him, like so proud of him. He's really like come such a long way. So
Yeah.
it's really nice to see.
It's fantastic. And you were the graduation speaker, weren't you?
Yes. I
How was that? Because when I had to beg you to come on this show, I know sometimes public speaking can get overwhelming. How did that go?
It was good. I was happy I did it. I was definitely a little nervous, but it was nice to be able to speak when he was graduating. So it was like very special.
That's just awesome. And you mentioned before that he's your sidekick. You come over from Marist and you take him out and go for walks and go shopping and things. I'm curious. I know that as you were growing up, we've talked about this, when you were growing up and living at home with Riley, you were pretty adamant that like anybody who was going to be friends with you was going to be friends with Riley. And like, there was no in between, I'm not sure. And every sibling, I think, has a different experience, a unique experience with their sibling with autism. But how has that shifted at all when you're in college? Do you find yourself educating other people, or is it kind of the same attitude of like, I'm going to visit my brother, at Anderson, or we're gonna take him out and go to McDonald's. You come if you want, but like, this is my time with Riley. Like, how do you handle that as you get older?
Yeah, I kind of just like, I feel like at school is kind of like my own thing. Like I kind of go by myself and just kind of go off just because it's nice to have that one-on-one time with him. Even like when I'm home sometimes, like if I'm hanging out with someone and him, he gets like a little jealous because he's so used to like just hanging out with me. So that time I do spend with him. But like my friends at home are really good about it. Like I will hang out with him and them, and like it's really nice just like people. It's been nice to like expose him to other people, and like he's having like experiences that I would have because I'll like bring him along, and
that's awesome. You may not know this, but you probably do. But Anderson has a long history with Marist. We have always, most of our history, we've had a member of the Marist faculty or administration on our board. We've been a large internship placement, especially in the School of Education, by the way, for Marist students. And so we go back, a ways with them. I think we honored Marist many years ago at our gala with our V.V. Anderson Award. So it's really nice that you're sort of continuing that tradition of, being a really engaged member of the Marist community and also the Anderson community. We love that. Does Riley ever get to come on campus? Has he ever been on the Marist campus?
Yes, last spring, actually. I haven't yet this spring, but we were just like walking around and I was like, oh, let's go down to the river. Like Marist has a little river down there. But we took like a little walk around the campus and I was like, oh, this is my school. And we'll always like drive through, like if I'm with my parents or something, we'll drive through and they're like, oh, this is Abby's school. And then we'll go to his school. So it's nice that he's able to like see where I am.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. All right, we're coming close to our break, but before we do, I got to lead us into what we're going to talk about the second half of the show, which is this year's Pajama Day. I want to reiterate something that you kind of glossed over because it in the fundraising world, $60,000 is not small. It's not small in any world. It is a huge amount of money that impacts the work that we can do at Anderson for and with Riley and all of his peers, both in the children's program and the adult program. So I just want to reiterate that this started as one person. It was you. You were in 7th grade. You came to us saying, I want to do this at my middle school. You got an approval from your middle school principal and thought, hey, what if we just ask people to donate $2 on this Friday in April to wear pajamas, and we'll do and that single act has like just taken off to such a huge degree that over the course of that, how many years is that? That's 6 years, right? 2017 through 2023.
This year. So
okay, 7 years. So then we're on the 8th year this year. And I mean, do you have any sort of goal in mind, or is it just better for you to just launch it and see what happens?
Yeah, my biggest goal like this year was kind of expanding the outreach of schools. Like I was hoping to get more schools on Long Island, some schools up here. So I have like about 10 schools this year, which is I'm waiting to hear from some still for like confirmation. But I'd say that's going pretty well. As far as like fundraising, I'm not sure like exactly a goal. My main focus this year has been like on the schools and like kind of getting the message out there. So
yeah, I think that's the right way to do it. I think, your message is the one that really resonates with people. It's permeated through Anderson. We have Pajama Day here where many of our staff dress up in pajamas, the students dress up in pajamas, families make contributions. And the school, the outreach to other schools has really been incredible, both on your part and your community. I know that this has broadened out beyond schools, aren't there? There are businesses in your town that participate every year, other families. And then we have Anderson families who took your idea and went to their homeschool districts and said, why are we not doing this? And so it's so impressive, Abby, and it's really wonderful. And when we come back from our break, we're going to get into the details of this year and how you can get involved. This is 1 in 36, the weekly talk show on topics related to autism spectrum disorder. I'm your host, Eliza Bozensky, and we'll be right back.
Hey, is that a faucet running?
Nope, that's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest.
It is?
Yeah, forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink. The water comes straight from the forest to us. In fact...
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
How do trees clean the air?
They soak up the dirty air on their leaves, branches, and trunks, which means clean air for us.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yep, but the forest does more than give us clean air and water. It gives us shade for hot days, birds to listen to, and trees to climb.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know how cool the forest could be. Hey, let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If I could be you.
And you could be me.
For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
to get inside
each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
And now, 1 in 36 continues on 100.7 WHUD. This is a weekly community affairs program presented by the Anderson Center for Autism.
Welcome back to 1 in 36, the weekly talk show on topics related to autism spectrum disorder. I'm your host, Eliza Bozensky, and I am talking with our good friend, Abby Edwards. So many ways I could introduce you, Abby. You are a sister of Riley, one of our recent graduates. You are a fundraiser. You are a message, a great communicator. You're a student at Marist College studying elementary education, special education, all around just inspirational person who has launched and started and founded Pajama Day and has seen it through every year since then. And so it's an honor to be talking to you again. All right. So on that note, we just re-announced that over the course of the 7 years that this Pajama Day event has been going on, it's always typically a Friday in April, where the general message is, and you started it this way, which is, hey, why don't I get permission in my middle school to have students have the chance to donate $2 to Anderson Foundation for Autism. And for that donation, they earn the right to wear pajamas to school for that day.
Yes.
Everybody loves a pajama day. It was a brilliant idea. $2 is, I think a reasonable amount of money to think that hopefully most people can come up with that, if not all, but, designed not to put anybody in a bad position of negatively impacting their own life for the sake of supporting this initiative. And it grew from there. And since then, you've raised, or Pajama Day overall has raised almost $60,000 for Anderson, and we appreciate it. from the bottom of our hearts. And we're about to do the 2024, which is also known as the Centennial Year Pajama Day. Anderson is turning 100 this year, and so even more exciting. But tell us when it is, how people can participate, and I'll fill in any gaps that there might be.
Okay. Yes. So Pajama Day this year, I'm kind of splitting it up into 2 days because different schools could do it at different times. So upstate, I'm having the schools on April 12th do Pajama Day, Friday, April 12th. And then the Long Island schools will be Friday, April 19th. And basically, kids can bring in, like Eliza said, the $2 or the $3, whatever, to school and wear their pajamas. And then also, if you want to get school involved, you can follow my Instagram. It's Autism Acceptance PJ Day. And then I'm on Facebook too. I have links to donate. I have flyers. So really just sharing the message, kind of getting it out there. That's the best way to donate.
It is. I agree with you. And I think also, that it's a really quality fundraiser and it's sincere and effective when word of mouth is really what it takes. You're not out there spending your own dollars to make this successful. It just makes sense, right? You love Riley. Riley is here. You firsthand see the opportunities that he's pursued while being here. You feel connected. The families here that you first spoke to when you came to that Anderson Family Partners meeting really resonated. They felt the sincerity and the love from you. We feel it every day, every time we talk to you. Your family has been instrumental and very supportive. So shout out to your family, who I know has driven you places and helped you connect with school districts and with your school personnel and your business community. I mean, everyone has really come together around this. And what's cool, I will share something with you about on our end. What we see is once we start promoting this and you're getting the word out there, we start receiving donations in addition to the ones that you're receiving and picking up at the schools and giving to us. And the notes that come along with those, sometimes online, are just the sweetest things. And we've gotten donations where a family from our local area here in the Hudson Valley have shown up in our building with their own child saying, well, my child heard about Abby's fundraiser and they wanted to do something, with our family or in their elementary school. So we're dropping off a couple of checks from school personnel and families over here. So I just want you to know, Abby, that the breadth and the reach of this is really maybe even farther than you realize, because it just starts to flood in, and it's amazing. So again, let's repeat that. It's April 12th for upstate schools and April 19th for Long Island. Was there any particular reason why you decided to do 2 days this year?
So actually, my home elementary school and the middle school had testing going on that day, state testing on the 12th. So we figured it would just be better to push it to the 19th. So I just figured splitting it up based on Long Island, we'll do that day. Upstate, we'll do this way. It's kind of easier also. I'm probably going to go home for that 19th weekend. So I'll be there for Pajama Day and here for this Pajama Day. So
what could be better than that? That's awesome. And I love that. And that's also a cool way to see what happens when you expand it a little bit more and see if maybe more people participate because there's more opportunity. At Anderson, like I said, we also celebrate Pajama Day, and we see a tremendous amount of generosity from our families and from staff as well, who love what you're doing and love the message and also love Riley and want to be here to support him. So I think it's amazing. Let's repeat your Instagram. That's Autism Acceptance PJ Day, right? For more information. And you can also get information on our website. You can go to andersoncenterforautism.org, and probably under our events page, you'll see when Pajama Day is listed on our calendar, and there'll be links for you to be able to make a donation straight to Anderson Foundation for Autism with a note specifying that this is in recognition of Abby's Pajama Day. And I'd love for you to do that, because every time you take the extra couple minutes to write a note, we can let Abby know that there's more donations that have come in specifically for your initiative. And that's amazing. We just love doing that. So let's see. Oh, I wanted to ask you this, Abby, as a sister, as a sibling. You changed your Instagram to Autism Acceptance PJ Day. I think when we started this, if you'd had an Instagram account, it probably would have been Autism Awareness PJ Day. What are your thoughts? Yeah, what are your thoughts about the movement from Autism Awareness Month in April to Autism Acceptance?
Yeah, so I kind of like see them going hand in hand. I don't have like a preference on which one. I kind of say like both in my letters. Like I'm supporting autism awareness and acceptance because I do think there's a need for like the awareness so people know about it. But I also think like the acceptance is a big part of it because like not only do people need to know what it is, but also like accept and like understand it. So I do like the acceptance piece of it because it's kind of more like informative of what autism is and like how to support it.
Yeah, I think that's beautifully put. I agree with you. It's to try to choose one or the other to me isn't necessary, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. In order to accept something or someone or a group of people or anything really, you have to be aware. And so awareness needs to continue. And then also our world is changing and the discussion, the dialogue in our communities, in our neighborhoods, but also broader than that, in our colleges, probably in our educational institutions and our larger communities, everything is really shifting. The conversation is changing. And there's more dialogue about autism, the spectrum of autism. And I think, the group of people who are really sort of severely affected by autism, who might need long-term, maybe forever supports, much like most of the people that we serve here at Anderson, awareness of that whole spectrum and the differences within that spectrum, I think continue to need to be highlighted. And I hear that from a lot of families. So I'm glad to hear you say that and to know that you're out there at college and spreading, awareness and acceptance and love and just, empathy, compassion, understanding, all those important things, and kindness and generosity amongst your peers and here on the show today. Is there any discussion I'm curious about, or any thoughts that you have about Marist or about, universities, colleges getting involved in this type of fundraising effort?
Yeah, I haven't really explored that yet. I just feel like it's kind of difficult to go through that whole thing just because college is so broad and but maybe eventually one year I could try to do it within a club. I'm in the Teachers of Tomorrow club. So it's definitely I could try to put a spin on somehow, maybe not exactly pajamas, but something to kind of make it more college friendly. Because I veer away from the high schools and colleges just because older kids, it's not really as fun for them. So I kind of always stick with elementary schools and middle schools. But it's definitely something I would consider.
Well, I think, really the world is your oyster, Abby, and whatever you choose to do with where your heart and your mind are at, I'm sure will be successful because it's just always coming, so sincerely from you. So I wish you the best of luck. And I think, again, one act that you decided to do when you were in 7th grade has turned into this amazing movement. And at Anderson, on behalf of everybody here, we just want to say thank you. We think you're wonderful, and we're thrilled that you're a part of the Anderson community and will be for a very, very long time. So let's go. 2024 Centennial Abby's Pajama Day, April 12th up here in the Hudson Valley and April 19th in Long Island. And for more information, again, visit or go to Abby's Instagram account, Autism Acceptance PJ Day. And you can also find out information on Anderson's website, which is andersoncenterforautism.org. Abby Edwards, go get them. Congratulations on doing so well in school. And thank you for all you do for Anderson.
Thank you.
This is 1 in 36, the weekly talk show on topics related to autism spectrum disorder. I'm your host, Eliza Bozensky. And remember, Anderson cares.
You've been listening to 1 in 36, a weekly presentation from Anderson Center for Autism, celebrating their centennial in 2024. Join them for another edition of the show next weekend.